the current target of 33% by 2020. All the utilities are going to make that. We're going to cross 30% this year. We were 27% last year. And we've got contracts that are lined up, projects that'll get us to the target very easily. We actually would have preferred a carbon reduction target, because the reality is what you want is to reduce carbon, however you can get there. And we had done a lot of work to show if you have a mix of renewables, more energy efficiency, more electric vehicles, you can probably get the optimum from a cost standpoint. But we've also done work to show we can get to 50% renewables. May cost more than if we said, well, let's do 45%, but we'll do more energy efficiency. But a lot of that is projections today of what's going to happen in 2030. And the reality is, if you told me 5 years ago that the cost of solar panels would have come down so much, I would have said, no, they're just not going to do that, but it is. But I think the plan certainly is doable. It'll be a combination of solar panels, some wind, and maybe new technologies that come along. And the key here, the issue here is paying to upgrade the grid. We've got to invest in the grid. And when you think about it, it makes sense. The grid was, the basic design was early 20th century. And it was pretty simple then. You just had big power plants, you threw power in one end and you took it out the other, and any good electrical engineer could calculate the flows and the voltages and the things like that. Well, think about it today, where you've got rooftop solar units dumping electricity in all over. You've got big solar arrays and wind farms out in the desert. And by the way, they're not predictable, because if a cloud goes over, if it ever does rain in California again, if a cloud goes over, electric production drops, and then it'll come back up. So it is a much more sophisticated system, and so you need much more sophisticated monitoring and devices. Well, you've got to be able to pay for that. And so a lot of this is around making sure solar users, which actually are very large users of the grid, they're sending power out, they're taking power in, you need to have more sophisticated controls. It's making sure we've got the money to pay for upgrading the grid to a 21st century grid.
And the other part of this is to reduce the amount of money that solar owners, homeowners, get paid for the electricity that they send into the grid. Why is that necessary?
Yeah, so there are a couple of ways that you can have people pay for the grid. It could be a model, and some utilities have proposed this, where you just have a rooftop solar fee. So it's kind of like your cable fee, where you pay a monthly fee for your cable, whether you actually use the cable or not, because they've got to maintain all of their equipment. We took a slightly different approach, and we said, look, we're getting electricity from the customers. It costs us money to generate that electricity, so we'll pay them what it costs us. Because your electric bill is really made up of two big pieces. One, it's the cost of the electricity, and the other is the cost to maintain the electric system out there. And so we'll pay customers for the cost of electricity, and then the differential will be they're paying for their part of the grid upgrades that have to occur to accommodate the sophisticated equipment that's on it.